this is our inaugural exhibition, and what better artist than Zhenya, who was actually our first artist at the Artishouse. So back in March, I got a message from Zhenya on Facebook saying, "Hi, I saw your post about a studio. I'm looking for a studio. I'm moving to New York in August." And that's true. I said, "I'm on it." And I literally whipped it together. I found the space. I signed a lease in May. We built it, and then August 1st we opened. And Zhenya showed up about 2 weeks after, and has been here pretty much every day working on this incredible collection. As you look around, it is just amazing to see what she's built in this space. And I think also having you all in her studio to then see what it's transformed into as an exhibition space and as a gallery space is really amazing. We're so happy you're here. So thank you all. Zhenya, thank you so much for being our first member, being a light, a source of inspiration for all of our artists, and for all of you. And I'm very happy you're all here. So thank you. And without further ado, Zhenya.
So I have a story for you. It began with a dream. And a lot of what you're going to hear and see tonight is about being a dreamer. I'm always accused of being a dreamer, but I think it's a good thing. And it began of a dream of two people, my parents. My mother actually traveled to Los Angeles. My dad could not because he saves lives. And this weekend he's covering a hospital. He works in a free hospital and children their life depends on him. So he could not be here, but when he watches the video, he's with us in spirit right now, and of course watching it. And their dream was to bring me to a country because we were not fortunate to be born in a place where you could say what you think and feel without worrying for your safety, without worrying about the freedom. And their dream was, as soon as they found out that I was an artist at age 10, to bring me to a place where I could say what I feel and what I think without fear. And then you might ask, how do we get from that place not to be named to Los Angeles? This is the place we ended up. And the answer is a little bit embarrassing, but it is because of a movie. It's so Hollywood. You might guess what a fabulous movie that was. It was Pretty Woman. A little bit embarrassing, right? But it wasn't about the fabulous story and the sexy movie. It was about the ending. And you might wonder, what is the ending scene? The ending scene is actually a homeless man. Who remembers that? Yes. There's a homeless man. We don't get any more of the Hollywood story anymore. And he says, this is Hollywood. This is a place of the dreams. Come here, dream big. Some dreams come true, some dreams don't. But this is Hollywood. Give it a try. And embarrassingly, we thought he was talking to us. So we said we're going to LA. And in a lot of ways, we made our dreams come true. We're truly, like parents themselves, are a success story of how you can come in as a doctor and have to work your way all the way back up from nothing when you're age 40, right, and make it happen. But then, you know, it's actually time of Passover. We're right around the corner. And what is the story of Passover? It's a story about immigration, right? It's the Exodus. And Moses, as fabulous as he was, only did it once. My family did it twice. So my daughter is also a dreamer. And she dreamt up to be a world-class flutist, performer, and composer. And at age 15, she broke record at being admitted as the youngest student to Juilliard on a full scholarship. But there was a clause. You don't get the money unless a legal guardian is coming with you. So, Nika and I left everyone and everything we had behind in a heartbeat. Our family said, you girls go, you make it happen. So without any thought that I'm going to gain something from me, I left everything, literally. My parents, my husband had to stay behind. He couldn't come with me because he has a job in LA, our home, my students. In fact, speaking of students, I have my youngest student, Chloe. Where is she? Chloe, who's traveled from Los Angeles to support me. So those of you who don't know, I also teach. I wear many hats. Some of my students are here tonight as well from New York. I know where you are. But Chloe started at 12, and I don't usually teach young at such a young age, but her art is so extraordinary that I made an exception. And I expect much from you, girl. So, where are we? We decided to go, and in August, when we were moving, we didn't know anyone in New York, like literally nobody, right? So we're leaving all our life behind. The two girls are coming to New York. Nika, do you remember listening to the song? What songs did we listen when we landed?
We listened to, obviously, the classic New York, Frank Sinatra.
You could make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? So full of dreams in a suitcase. And right before I left, I said to all my friends and all my students, I'm going to New York, I'm going to be there 9 months. I'm going to make a show of these fabulous paintings, and I'm going to show it in a great exhibition. And everybody said, where? I said, that doesn't matter. I'll find it. So you were here as part of that vision. And I knew right away that what I was going to paint was my vision, my experience of the city. So the idea for the I see you, right? The artist has the eyes. It is our responsibility to really see, not just watch, but to see and then become the eyes for the others. So I See You exhibit, literally, as some of you might have read on the wall, came from the fact that there was a homeless man who held up the sign in a busy New York street, and it said on it, I might as well be invisible. That's when the idea was born. And actually it was my husband and I, we walked up to him, and my husband hugged him and said, I see you, man, right? So that's where the title was born, that's where the idea was born. And what you see, the people that you're around, mostly what you see here in this exhibit, are people I saw on the 2 stops I take daily to come to the Artist House. By the way, the Artist House is part of the dream, because how do you walk into New York and come to a fabulous studio in Manhattan? Simply doesn't exist. So, I say to Matt, where is Matthew? I dreamt you up, you're not real. This is the kindest, most visionary man. And his vision was, he's too humble to even tell you, but his vision was post-pandemic to literally break the walls between the artists. The iron walls and the space will all work together. And they're not, I was the first to fall, it was the first mess on the floor. Very proud of that, I marked my territory. But now there are 15 fabulous artists. So I want you to raise a hand and wave at us if you belong to the studio and you're the artist here. Wave it high and loud. Amazing artists here. So support is great. I do have an embarrassing thing. I got a nickname here as an art mama, which confuses me a little bit. But here we are. So the work was born, and I wanted to tell you about one specific individual. Perhaps her story will talk about for almost every painting in the show. And I want you to meet Rachel. Rachel was somebody who sat outside, literally, the doorsteps to my studio. And every day that I had to walk in here, I had to pass her. And what stopped me in my tracks, first of all, she looked quite young. She had these amazing penetrating eyes with a capability of a kid to either cry or laugh almost at the same time simultaneously. And she had a broken leg. She was incapacitated in these dirty rags, and everybody kind of walking over her. And she too had the most amazing sign I had ever seen. She was in the position to ask, to say, I'm basically invalid right now. I cannot walk. I'm hungry. I'm cold. But she didn't say any of that. She just held up a sign, losing all hope. That's all it said. And I made it my point to every day for 3 months to do something for her. And she taught me. A lot of homeless, they do not need the money. They need someone to ask, what can I do for you? It could be something very simple. She asked me, I'm embarrassed, but my blanket got stolen. Is there any way you can get me a blanket? It cost me $9.99. It made a huge difference in her cold nights. Another time I said, Rachel, can I buy you some food? She said, something sweet, please. Something we don't think about, that a homeless person might not be just wanting to be fed, but they're craving a treat, right? So it taught me to actually, she changed my life forever. And what's really amazing is, by some miracle of fate, she's no longer, you did not see her downstairs, because today, on this day, she found housing and she's moved from the streets. This is great. I wanted to take a moment to maybe look at the paintings behind you, specifically the painting if you can see the man on the ground. And I wanted to ask you a question. If you could all think about a word or an association that comes to mind when you see the spaces. I want you to take a moment to think of just a word, if you want a sentence, when you look at that face, when you look at that face behind you. You look at this sleeping woman on the church steps, or Sonny with his backpack. And I'd love you to share it out loud. So if you could just say it out loud, any word that comes to mind.
Vulnerable. Sad. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable, sad,
Lost.
tired, lost, forgotten, alone. And then look again and think of one more word.
Looking for love.
Looking for love.
Seen. Seen.
Seen. They had just all got seen by you. Right? That is probably the most of what they want, to be seen. Right? What else did I want to tell you? I wanted to tell you that it's a miracle that all of you are here. Because as I said, Nika and I don't know anybody in New York until we came here. So raise a hand if you are friends with Nika, one of us or both of us, that we met you in the last few months. Raise a hand. This is a miracle. And I think the big reason that you're here, because you knew what the project was about. And the moment I said, and so many of you are here, I met you on the street. A lot of you I know from coming into the store or doing my hair or makeup. And I just mentioned what I do, and everybody wanted to be here. So that means that you have wonderful hearts. They're amazing people. Look at each other. This itself is a dream, how we attracted each other and here as such a community. I also wanted to mention that I have a secret passion, maybe even an addiction, a little bit embarrassing, for tango. I dance Argentine tango. So raise a hand if you're tango dancers here. All right, quite a bit here, right, tonight. And they have shoes, so they always bring, tango dancers always have their shoes, so we can dance tonight. And the reason I bring it up, it's such an amazing community, but we have a saying in tango. What is our saying? What do we say about a good dance? Takes two to dance, right? So whenever you give a compliment, oh my God, that was just such a great dance. You'll always hear the tango dancers. Have you ever said that? It takes two to tango, right? I'm going to say to you that it takes two to paint. I'm dancing with all of you. In order for me to convey my message, I rely to you equally, 50-50 partnership, to notice, to become the eyes, as I have become for you, now for them, and we dance together. We need to be felt, we need to be heard as artists, and it takes two to paint. And perhaps I should tell you about my favorite artist, whose exhibition is now on view. One of you here today went to see it. That's Katie Kolowitz. If anybody is familiar with Katie Kolowitz's work, she was a woman who worked during a very turbulent time between World War I and World War II, and she was never afraid to say how it was. She, in fact, when you see the exhibition at MoMA, it's the largest retrospective of her work in 70 years, she had said, I don't paint cold, I paint with my heart. Those who know what I'm talking about will see it and feel it, right? So this idea, we could say oil on canvas, but we can also say it's oil, blood, and tears on canvas, right? What you feel. I mean, I honestly feel like a blood transfusion into these paintings. But she'd also said, talk about blood transfusion, she'd also said that one's task through life is to love and spread warmth. And we see it in her heart. And last night, as I was thinking about the speech, I had the aha moment. I thought, wouldn't it be cool in the flyer to spell it I see you in the letters as it sounds. I see you. Wait, I see you? What does that stand for? Where's my doctors? Intensive care unit. I see you is an intensive care unit where you go to save your life. You are part of my ICU. I will be happy to take you through, answer more questions, but I really want you to enjoy. I want to thank you and applaud everybody here.
Like Zhenya said, if you have questions about the art, please ask her. She's happy to take you on a tour. If you have any questions about Artishouse, I'm here. Any questions, and enjoy your night. We are very happy that you're all here.